I'm tired. But here, good morning. Hello, Adela Hill and Wendy Meyer. La 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 la. Shondell Dodson in the house. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Hello, Susan Day and Stacy. La la. Robert Brooker. Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? Hey, everybody, and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moment. I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris. Well, it's actually Bathrobe Moments, because we have more than one good moment here. We have a string of them, a plethora of them, each and every day, and today will be no different. I am claiming it already. Hello to all of you as we build the audience. Penny Latham, come on in. If you're out on the front porch, get in here, take your shoes off, wipe your feet off, whatever you need to do. Just come on in, get comfortable, grab yourself something to drink, and we'll get started here in just a few. First of all, I had another one of those nights last night where I'm awakened in the middle of the night. Last night, I think it was right around 1:30. I went back to bed at 3:40. And I remember I used to just lay there and work within my head. Good morning, Todd Hart. Until I saw a post one morning by Dom Fawcett. You all know Dom Fawcett. Up and coming, wonderful, wonderful kid. Well, to me, he's a kid. But Dom Fawcett was talking about how he also battles with waking up in the middle of the night. Aaron Himes, good morning to you. Aaron, the president and founder of E360 Television. So for all of you who want to be starlets, bat your eyes. Put your best emojis on. You might get discovered this morning right here on Bathrobe Moments. Anyway, hi, Susan. I'm glad you woke up in time to catch the show. Yippee is right. So anyway, I started after seeing Dom's post about don't fight it when you get awakened in the middle of the night. It means that you need to get up because something wonderful could be trying to find its way through you and into this world. So I got up, and lo and behold, a couple hours later, I'd gone back to bed with the beginnings of a new book. So, oh, well, look who finally showed up. Stephen Smith, our guest. Stephen, have a seat. Don't worry, I'm just kidding with you. I have some things to get, into the hopper this morning. Some business. First business is this, and then wait till you see this thing I discovered. Help me welcome to the show, as always, so I don't get sued. My sidekick, my best gal, Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. This is something Ooey Gooey. This is the actual name of this coffee. Ooey Gooey Chocolate Fudge. That's what it said. I was digging down way at the bottom in one of those little pull-out bins in the freezer, and tucked way in the back was the bag of coffee that I just described. Ooey Gooey Chocolate Fudge. So that's what we have this morning. Next, help me welcome my other sidekick, my backup singer and dancer, Chanel Ray, and all the rest of you that are sneaking in through the back door. Come on in. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, too. She's my backup singer and dancer, like I said, and just a little bit taller than the other Lucy. And then the man, my man, Captain Kangaroo, my confidant from childhood days gone by. Yes, not quite back as far as when Laura Ingalls Wilder was running the prairie, but close. Anyway, he knows where all of my Stretch Armstrong bodies are buried. Because I did, for those of you who don't know, I think I got a total of 6 Stretch Armstrongs. Excuse me. I had convinced my mother that somebody in their neighborhood was stealing all of my Stretch Armstrongs, so she kept replacing them. But really, what was happening was I was performing surgery on them because I was just intrigued by that stuff inside that allowed him to stretch. Anyway, Captain Kangaroo knows where I buried every one of those 6. Rest in peace, stretches. Linda Carroll, good morning to you. And Linda, didn't I just accept a friend request from you this very morning? Because you are a friend, I think, of our guest today. Okay, well, welcome. Christopher Kaysen, how are you, my man? Headed off to, we need to get you on so you can talk about this trip you're taking. I heard you say yesterday you're going to be in Cambodia and all kinds of places. Love to hear about it. If you're interested in coming on the show, hit me up after this show and we'll make it happen. Now, here's the surprise. Did you all know, how many Captain Kangaroo theme songs did you think there were? I knew there's the one that I use here on the show every morning. And then there was that one, Good Morning, Captain. Remember that? But do you remember, I was interested because I saw a YouTube episode with Dolly Parton as the guest, right, on Captain Kangaroo. So I was like, oh, look at Dolly. Let me look at Dolly in 1976. So I hit the show. Imagine my chagrin when... Okay. What the heck is this? Really? Oh my God, no, I can't even do it. I can't do it. I don't remember that. Either I suppressed it, boycotted, and don't remember, or that lasted maybe a week. I don't know which one it is, but it will never find its way into my hallowed archives of fond memories of Captain Kangaroo. Really? Oh my God. I was devastated, actually, when I saw it, simply because I wasn't aware of it, and then also because it sucked. Dude, I don't know how you dealt with it. I hope you fired whatever agent you had. I'm talking to him right now. You don't remember that one either? Thank you. Both of us. Shaking our heads. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I had a young man here on the show by the name of Stephen Smith, and the big joke at the time was that he was sending me, he got my attention because he kept sending me these things in Messenger around 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I was like, dude, unless you're giving away cash prizes to get up and watch your thing out there at the sunrise, again, wait, together, Captain God, get your rhythm. Not do it. Charles Princeton, I just left you a message. Did you see it? Yeah, take a look. You're going to get a kick out of that one. Mark Green, good morning to you. So anyway, I can't help it. Susan Day says I'm freezing a lot. I don't see it. I'm still alive and moving on my screen. Maybe it's your internet, Susan. I don't know. Am I freezing to a lot of you? Am I freezing? So anyway, Stephen Smith, he was sending me these things. And then one morning I happened to find my way up and I watched one. And it was great. It was absolutely awesome. And I was like, man, I think I'm doing something by getting up at 8 a.m. Central Time every morning for Bathrobe Moments. But good Lord, in the morning, literally, this guy gets up with the birds. And he's there kicking days off with people every week, Stephen Smith. So we got started on the show last week, and before you know it, the hour had passed. And whenever that happens, and it's just getting good, I always invite the person back. So Stephen is back today. Go ahead, Stephen, and hit that green button at the bottom of your screen, and we're going to get him in here. Now, I want you to witness this. Look, you can tell I tried to nicely roll up my earbuds yesterday because I am going to crack the code on why is it that no matter what you do, do with these, because I have two pair. I have the backup pair that I take with me when I'm running marathons. Clearly, that set never leaves the house. And then this set, which is here for me to use. Now, I am going to see if my rolling it up nicely saves it from getting. Okay, I can already tell that did not work because it should just unroll. What? Excuse me. I'm going to add this to my list of what the hells that I'm going to crack the code on before I die one day. This, and then how come when you're wrapping Christmas presents, the tape can just disappear? I mean, literally disappear. It happens all the time when I'm doing Christmas presents. It was here 1 second. There's the present I just wrapped. 5 minutes later, no tape. Something going on. Again, Captain, shaking our heads. Okay, Mr. Steven, can you hit the green button, please? I don't have any more warm-up stuff, so you can come on in here now. We can get started. You know, I'm also, you guys, booking guests for, hold on, the 12th of November through the 15th. So if you or someone you know has a compelling story, or you just want to come on here and, you know, like I do every day, hit me up. I'd love to have you on the show. I do roll it up nicely, Robert Brooker, as you could clearly see there. But again, hi, Gigi. I have never met a Gigi I didn't love. Wait, have I ever met a Gigi? I'm getting you confused with Jaja, my other girl that I've never met one that I didn't love. I haven't met one of those either. But I love you. Thank you so much for being here. No, Christopher, I'm not getting some other bedazzled, bedangled, befagled techie thing. Because I just got this the other day and I still can't make it work right. A camera for my new computer. Oh, thank you, Gigi. And I love the back view of your hair. Is that the back view of your hair on your profile picture? Do you guys know what I was just doing? I was trying to use this mouse to click the button for Steven to come into the show on my screen. Now you know, okay, I'm adding you. Now you know why I am not techie. Seriously, I'm using the mouse to control my phone screen?
Hello.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah, my headphones aren't working.
But
Hopefully we're not
obviously,
having feedback here.
your hairdresser was working this morning.
I was on my other phone, and it would not give me the opportunity to join or send an invite. So I was like, okay, I set that down. I was plugged into that. Now I'm on my other phone that
So
it
you
will
just gonna act like I didn't say that about your hairdresser?
I heard about the hairdresser. All right, thanks, Steve. Appreciate you.
I mean, good Lord, you got up. Well, I guess so. You get up with the chickens.
It's doing something today. It's not, but yeah, for whatever reason.
Oh, look,
So
you let us see it all. Now you took off your glasses and everything. Going to turn
there we
sideways.
go. How
You
about
know
that?
that's always been your thing. Quit playing.
I'm not sure which is my good side. I don't know. It depends on.
I know.
I think this one.
Mine too. So, do you see how that's why I wear the hats. You see how that sun bounces off that side? Not
Oh,
good.
sure.
Not a good look. Not a good look at all. So,
Well, I'm
welcome
glad that
back
we
to.
don't have any audio issues because this is there's no plug-in for head. Well, there is a plug-in, but it's not normal, so it doesn't have the jack on this new phone, this new Note.
Oh, what? Oh, you're on a new Note.
I'm on the brand new Note 10. Yes.
Oh, I like the
So
way you worked
see.
that in there. Very nice, clever. You're clever.
Oh, I
So,
love
mhm.
Samsung.
Well,
I do.
and it's okay. I mean, I love my flip phone that I'm working from as well.
Sometimes I wish I just had a flip phone.
I'm sure you do. I'm just kidding. Be careful what you wish for.
I know I
So
better be careful with that.
right. Well, I'm
Right.
glad you're back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And I'm counting on you, hi,
Oh,
Lachelle Atkins, and everyone that's here. If Stephen looks familiar, it's because he was here not so long ago. You'll notice that every once in a while, I think I just did it with another guest the other day. We're gonna have her back. I have no idea who it is, but she'll be back. She who remains nameless will be back. But when we get started with a guest, Lachelle Atkins, I had her back a second time. It's usually because we get started and it gets really good and there's some momentum going. We find a
Yes,
stride and then the time runs
yes,
out on us.
we
So
did.
I always bring a person back so that we can finish. Do you by chance remember, Stephen, first of all, where we left off?
I did well. Yeah,
Okay, good. So
I
why
took
don't you
some
bring,
notes.
oh, perfect. Bring every Google Pixel for you. Who are you talking to, Christopher?
Google
Okay.
Pixel. Well, the brand new Google Pixel came out. I definitely am into the phones.
Is that a phone, a Google Pixel?
Yeah, Pixel 4 is a brand new Google phone now. Still does not
La
rival
la
my
la la
Note
la la
or
la
my
la 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 la
S10.
la 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 la
And
la.
it's,
No.
yeah.
I ain't trying to do it. I'm gonna keep this one until the screen falls off. So
Uh,
there it is. As long as it can dial and answer, and I can answer it, and I'm good.
there
So
you are.
I'm not into that. Every time they get a new one, some people are addicted. It's like tattoos. They just gotta have it.
Oh, well, I might have inherited this now from my dad. Now, I didn't have it for a long time, but my dad has always got to have the newest, latest, greatest. And I got turned on to the Note because I like the
Well,
pen,
you're
and
probably
here we
turning
are. So,
into your
anyways,
dad. That's what happens as you get
that,
older. You turn into your
that,
parents, they say.
that happens, doesn't it? There's commercials out there like that.
That's what they. Oh,
So
so listen.
I do
Why don't
remember where we were.
well bring everybody up to par that has not been
Okay.
here before. First of all, before we
Okay.
pick up where we left off, and just give
Yeah.
them a little insight into who you
Okay.
are, what you're doing, and what they
Yeah.
missed the last time.
Exactly. It was a great show the last time around, and it was about getting to know me a little bit better. And Loren did an exceptional job at pulling out some information out of me that I would have never even expected to be discussing, which is
Really?
fine. Yeah, you're good at that, I think. Um,
That's what
so
I
the
hear.
bot, yeah, you are. You're really good at that.
Mm.
Uh, which is fine because I am Stephen Smith. I live here in Sarasota, Florida.
Mhm.
I've been here for about 19 years now. I guess I can call myself somewhat of a local, but I'm not really local from here. I originally come from Ontario, Canada. So I'm a Canuck originally, but I've
Nice.
moved around a bit. I've been in Southern California for about 20 years. I was in Washington State, I was in Texas, and then came here. Bottom line is that, I work with a family business here in town, and that's my day job. But I've got this second job, and actually, this second job is really blossoming, and that is this online stuff and the social end of it. But what it really is it's me having found myself and finding and defining my purpose. And I do that through video and connection to nature, connection to source, and just sharing my story in a transparent manner. So we talked about a lot of things. We centered around what happened when I was 19 years old, and it just triggered a thought in my mind about a difficult situation that I was involved in, where I didn't say no. I didn't learn to say no at that point. And although I didn't want something to do with the situation, it was serious. It was a robbery that I ended up driving a vehicle that the person that did it pulled off, and I ended up in a whole lot of trouble for it.
Oh yeah,
Right?
it's all
So
coming back to me now.
yeah, not that I want to focus on that, but that was a difficult
Wait a
time.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So this was the age when it all began. Remember this one?
I do remember this.
Do what's the name of this song?
Well,
I'm
that
gonna
I'm not
fast
going to.
forward.
I am not. I don't claim to be an audience.
Okay, here we go. Wait, wait.
Steely Dan. That went
So
too far.
good. Steely Dan. I'm gonna tell you the story behind this song. That's Aretha Franklin.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Aretha.
Yeah.
Hey, 19. Hi, and the
Right.
reason the reason I did
Okay.
it because I find it interesting that you said you were 19 when this happened. That was a big deal for me. When I turned 19, I woke my foster family up playing this song because for some reason 18 was the age you thought back then, but for some reason, for me, for liberating purposes, 19 was it. It was my last year as a teenager. I was going to be in my twos, my 20s
Right.
the next year. It's when it started to get real for me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? People still kind of look at you as a kid when you're
Yeah.
18. Hey, you're still wet behind this. But 19, you're starting to get some props. So
Yeah.
I found it interesting that at 19, you make this decision.
Yes. I made a decision that I was going to be. I let someone out of my car. They did a robbery. I let them get back into my car. I ended up getting in trouble as an accessory to robbery. I ended up doing 18 months in. It was prison, but it was the youth authority for California, and in that though, now I can stand back and say, well, that was, although difficult and painful and hurtful to my family
Hi,
and a
honey.
lot of people, uh, was such a learning experience. And I'm grateful for it now. I went to fire camp. I ended up working with the California Department of Forestry. Learned how to start fires and get the snow off of it and start fires with nothing but what was coming really from the forest. Um, learned
You
to
learned how to
love
start
wood.
fires?
Start fire. I can start a fire. Yeah.
Well, it seems like they would be teaching you how to put them out.
Well, we were burning wood. We were burning piles of brush. And so
Oh.
we were burning the brush piles that we're not starting forest fires. We fought forest fires. I was on
Well,
a fire
it's
line.
interesting because, all we hear out there from California is about those wildfires that eat up
Yes.
half the. So, first time I've heard of, so,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's what.
So I was on a fire line. I ended up working my way up to chainsaw on that. And so I was doing chainsaw. I was one of the top three people. But the bottom line is that there was a lot of experiences. That's really for another day. Um, so what I recognize is that in fact, it was a learning experience that from the painful experiences that I've had, I was able now to grow and to learn from them and to use them
Sure,
as my platform for
sure.
my purpose. Yeah.
Okay.
And share that stuff and help
So,
people.
that's where, okay. So now where do we leave off? Because,
We left off. You said that we were leaving off really at the prison thing. So I had done the prison thing. And so that's where we kind of left off. And so, yeah,
so here,
we're
I
at
want
the,
to ask
okay,
you something
now I've
about
gotten
that
out of prison.
because I hear two versions of that.
Sure.
I hear when you first went into it just a minute ago, you're like, well, it was prison, but it really wasn't prison because it was more of a youth authority. But
It
then
was.
just now, you said, we left off at the prison thing. So my question is, how do you deal with it in your messaging or when you're sitting around and somebody wants to bring it up? So do you, I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Because, a
Well,
lot of people are so judgy.
hmm,
I can
okay.
understand how you'd want to soften the blow of the news, but but what is the
Well,
reality of it for you? And
yeah. What it
which way do you
was,
go? Which way do you
yeah,
go?
what it was for me was turning 21, in jail or prison or youth authority, however you really want to refer to it. I was incarcerated. Okay,
Well,
I
there you
couldn't
go.
just go anywhere. Although I was on a fire camp ultimately, and I could have walked away, but I ended up then probably doing hard time in prison. You know, so I didn't do that. I
So
learned
was
and
the
I
youth
grew.
authority easy time?
I got lucky with the fire camp. No time in jail is easy time. I would not say
No,
that.
but it's not the place as
Yeah.
much as it is the vibration,
All the same
the
things happened in the
frequency.
youth authority. Actually, youth authority is even probably maybe tougher in a lot of ways because you got a
That's
lot of
why I'm
young
hit. That's
kids.
why I'm pushing you.
Yeah, you got a lot of young kids out there that are trying to make their way and say that they're the boss, and then if you don't answer their what they're doing, it can get very ugly for you very quick. And
So
I
wait a
found
minute.
myself in some situations. I
I
sure
bet you
most
did.
certainly did. I
I
did.
bet you did, because I was
Yeah.
in the foster system at that age, or just getting out of it. But
Mhm.
I know that if I would have been around a kid like you, because I know you talked then like you talk now, real smooth, and that we'd have been this.
Well,
What's up
I
with
had friends. The guy that was he was not on my crew. Well, yeah, he was on my crew. Excuse me. He was the top guy. But this gentleman, young kid, he was a gangster, all right. He was definitely a gangster. Came from San Francisco, in the Mexicans. Um, I can't. I'm trying to think of the name. It's been so long since I had to think about it because I'm not gang oriented. You know, that's not my
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Never was my thing.
Uh-huh.
But bottom line is that yeah, you're talking about a guy that was growed up in being a gangster.
Let me ask you something.
But
Let me butt in
yeah,
here because it came
yeah,
out and I wrote it down. So I think this is the direction we
sure,
need to go. Okay. So even though this is important because a lot of the times we're guilty by association,
yes,
we're guilty by omission. We do a lot
mm,
of things to change the story. We change the background music and all these different things to our story because of
sure,
some type of denial, or we haven't
yes,
owned it. We haven't
sure.
become accountable and moved on. And I want to know how long, if at all, did you have the mindset that you were innocent? I really didn't do anything. When people would say, "So what are you in here for?" Did you ever say, "Well,
Um,
I really didn't do anything. There was a guy who was in my car and he got out of my car and he went in and he committed a robbery and he came back in my car and here I am." So did you ever say, "I know you did. I didn't do anything"?
Well, yeah, when I was sitting in front of the police officers and they were interviewing me, it's like, yeah, I drove the car. I didn't have anything to do with this, you know. This wasn't me. This was, him, not me. Um, so yeah, I didn't want to necessarily take the accountability because I didn't even understand the depth of what I had just gotten myself into.
And I'm going to ask you again because I remember this from our last interview. I said to you, I said, um, you didn't hear the term getaway driver ringing in the recesses of your mind,
That
and
wasn't
you said,
well, it might have rung in my brain. And in fact I struggled with myself a lot over what do I do? Do I just leave him here or and take off and that's it? And
and why didn't you, Stephen?
I can't even answer that question, to be honest. I mean,
Have
I
you ever
really haven't
asked yourself? I bet you.
evaluated it.
Is that the
I
kind of
have,
question? Hold on. Is that the kind of question that
yeah,
makes a person lie there in the night, going? I would. I think I even to this day would be
yeah,
laying there going, trying to figure out, walk all the
yeah,
way around, look at that
right,
situation, and say,
right.
because the thing about it is, what is that? Is that a sense of loyalty to
It was a
somebody?
sense of loyalty. It was a sense of loyalty, most certainly. And
Were you
then,
afraid of this guy?
honestly, it was a lot of naivety, to be honest, as well. Not realizing even that I wasn't taking accountability for myself,
Uh huh.
and actions and the people that I was surrounding myself with. And so
How much
it
of
was
that
just,
decision do you think was based on fear of this kid?
I don't think that there was fear involved
So
there.
you didn't feel
No,
that
it
if I
wasn't on
leave
that level.
him and he
Yeah,
comes out here and I'm not here and I'm going to run into him tomorrow or the next day or the day after that,
right,
I'm going to have some
right.
explaining to do. You didn't think that?
Well, I knew that if I did that, yeah, he was going to read the riot act at me for real.
Well,
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I mean.
oh yeah.
What I'm
Okay.
getting at is
So
how
maybe
we
there
make
was fear there.
decisions. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Because that process that you're describing of when you were 19 isn't germane to just being a kid. There are many of us who do
Mhm.
that same thing today in our
Mm,
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
yes,
We
right,
make decisions based on, there are people who are rescuers, who there are
right.
people who are fearful of repercussions or what people are going to think if they make a
Yeah,
decision. That's what I'm
absolutely,
kind of getting at.
absolutely. Yeah, it took me a long time to get to the point where, regardless of the person, their background, or their ability to hurt me matters. Now I'm much more fearless, and sometimes possibly I have recently had to have an experience of being fearless and not taking anything off of anybody and creating a bad situation for myself.
Uh huh.
Now, so I had to learn, hey, look, there is a time to step back from this stuff, and you don't have to have this big ego and I'm not going to take this stuff from somebody. Let them be what they want to be and say what they want to say and just simply walk away, and you because you have to look out for yourself. And I'm old enough now that I should think about the consequences of what the action is going to do and how that's going to impact me, and then make
Question.
a realized decision about it.
Okay. So, here's the question for you. So I'm
Yes.
assuming when this all went down,
Yeah.
that you were both like in the newspaper. You
Oh,
know what I
sure.
mean? As a duo.
Oh gosh. Well,
These
I
two
don't
robbed
recall, but
the.
yeah, we were certainly named, and it was a big deal because happened to live in a town that was referred to as Old Hangtown,
Okay.
right
So
outside gold territory. So, I mean, that's where they first started hanging people that were crooks, back in the gold rush.
so there
And
you two
so,
are. There
yeah.
you two are. And people are like, not that quiet little Steven kid. What? So now you're getting
Yeah,
you probably picked up some street cred where people are like,
suppose I
he
could have.
didn't snitch on him or he didn't this, he
No,
went down
yeah,
and they probably built it up bigger than it really was, you know.
possible.
And
Yeah.
then, well, what about this one? Two things, two-part question here. What about the people that knew you, the way they look at you and shake their head and like, what were you thinking? I can't even imagine how many times you heard that question. What were you
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then, and in your opinion, do you think this was able to happen because he was a great leader or you were a great follower?
I was a great follower. Absolutely.
And how has that impacted your life today?
It's I am not a follower anymore. I know that I was told, and it became part of my belief system that, in fact, because I believed somebody else's statements about myself, that I was a follower. But today I know different. Today I am not a follower. I am a leader. I am a trailblazer, and standing up for myself, and then still utilizing the personality traits I've always had, and that is, the loyalty and the honesty, and being a team player and things like
Uh-huh.
that. That go to my advantage as the leader versus being a follower, just trying to, like, okay, okay, that sounds fine. Let's go do that. It's like,
So
what?
the day you were in the kitchen and that pancake was ready to get flipped from
Yeah.
being a good follower over to being a great and exceptional leader, what
Yes.
had its hand on the spatula that enabled you to flip that pancake?
Well, I think in a lot of ways I've been a leader in many ways for a long time. I just hadn't necessarily emotionally dealt with that part of it until the last, well, I guess, and it seems like yesterday, but it's really probably maybe the last 15 or 20 years. And
Uh-huh.
that was because in several of my business roles with jobs, I was a leader. I was in some cases, I've always been like involved in self-starting commission type sales positions. Had to be responsible for myself and my own actions. If I did nothing, I didn't make any money. Then I've, worked my way all the way, career-wise in the past to national sales manager and having 20 people working for me. And so, yeah, in that fact, that was a leader
Let
for
me ask
real.
you something. Have you ever wondered, pondered, thought, reflected
Mhm.
on the possibility? Have you ever asked yourself, was this kid in my car for more than the obvious reason of what turned out? Could I, had I chosen to say something differently, had I chosen to do something differently? I guess what I'm asking is, have you ever asked yourself, have you ever gone to that place and wondered, because you know who you are now, and everything
Mhm.
you are now, you were then. You just weren't
Yeah,
aware of it. You had it
right,
with you.
right,
So,
correct.
in retrospect, from where you live today, do you
Yeah.
sometimes even just wish that you would have been able to share some of the things with this kid, that maybe you were both at that intersection of opportunity for a distinct reason, that you just weren't aware of your own never ending story at the time?
I recall that it went from maybe some trying to talk some sense to me screaming and yelling, like I said last time. Um,
Talk about that. I
what
don't.
came to my what came to my mind was this: I would not change it. Okay, I wouldn't change it.
The experience.
But yeah, no, it was difficult. I felt shame for a lot of time over it, but I don't feel shame about it anymore.
Right.
And I would not be sitting here with you if it was any different. And I'm more pleased to be able to sit here and share the story than having who knows what would have happened otherwise, and ultimately learned a lot of things. Now, that as well, I'm sure contributes to my love of nature and being outside, because I was out in the fire line every day, out in wilderness. Um,
Mm.
Making stuff out of wood, loving wood. So yeah, I wouldn't change it, but what I would say was, um, I thought that I had done everything that I could. It just didn't occur to me to just straight leave the person behind. Whereas today, I've had to learn other types of lessons about that unconditional love thing. To you can unconditionally love somebody, but you must look out for yourself. When you start to sacrifice yourself, that's where you have to draw a line.
Have you
And
ever wondered what happened to this kid? Where he is today?
no, no,
Excuse me. Really?
that's not important. I hadn't really
Well, the reason I would wonder
given.
about
I
it
kind
is
of put it
because,
behind me, to be honest. It doesn't bother me anymore. It hasn't bothered me really for a very long time.
well, not bothered, but
And
I think I'd just be naturally curious as if he reached the place that I've
I,
reached, you know,
that's not
because you were both there. You weren't
that's
there
not
on
what's important
accident.
to me. I would hope for that for him. Absolutely, I would hope that for him.
Hmm.
Is it important for me to have to know?
No,
No,
I get it.
no,
Never heard
it's
anything
not.
over the years, though, huh?
No, no.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
that's that. And yeah, go ahead.
So tell us about. Let's change gears here, if we
Yeah.
could, and get into what it is you do in the wee hours of the morning.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. I do.
wh-
I do get up early, and I've learned from a couple people, don't send me messages in the morning. And it's like, well, because my phone dings,
oh well,
drives
I
me crazy,
silence
wakes me
mine.
up. It's like, well, there's a solution to that. You can mute the notifications. Just
Yep,
do
yep,
that. Just
yep.
mute the notifications, and then I won't wake you up, because I'd be respectful. I have backed off as a result of that. The people that
Well,
asked me that, but that hasn't completely stopped me, because when I do have a message, and I don't mind putting that message out. If there's a problem, they say something, I say, well, we can solve that.
right.
Mute the notifications.
Okay, let me
And
ask you something because I want to make sure you cover all this, and I'm looking at some of the
yeah.
comments. Tell us how you came about giving each day a theme. You have Mental
Oh,
Health Wednesday. You have
yeah.
what is Tuesday? Today is
Today's
Empowerment.
Empowerment Tuesday.
Right. So
Yeah, and that's one of the things I want to talk about. This
go
isn't, and
ahead.
this video is empowerment right here, if you're listening to what we're saying, because this is an opportunity to empower oneself to have uh, more positive thinking. Part of getting positive thinking is actually looking at the things that you're not happy about with your life
Hmm.
and listing those down, and then listing the things that you're going to need to do to achieve that. Today has been and last night, starting last night, and today been so powerful to me about being in the flow of empowerment and positive thinking and energy. And what comes to my mind, just like I talked about this morning, is um, is the thinking. It's all about the thinking. And today is about subconscious versus the conscious thinking, and
Okay.
the awareness of the fact that our subconscious does not care for 2 seconds, doesn't even recognize reality. It is a tape recorder, is what it is. And that is also our belief system, our morals, and the agreements that we've made with ourselves that really direct our life. That's how we act and how we respond and do the things that we do. And so when we're doing things that we don't like to do, there's only one answer. It's called, you got to change that thinking, and it's not an easy process. And so I came up, I think it was honestly, spiritually speaking, spiritual enlightenment that said, okay, just do it. And it just happened. I say, I do know what I'm doing. I do, but I don't know what I'm doing. I got a huge plan. I got a business plan, all that stuff. But this stuff comes to me, and it comes to me from a higher level, the universe, and inspires me. And so all of a sudden, we've got a guided meditation on Mondays, meditation Mondays, affirmation Mondays. We've got empowerment Tuesdays. We've got mental health Wednesdays. We have thankful Thursdays and love Fridays, because who doesn't love Fridays? But actually, love comes from the Greek god Venus. And so that's where the love Friday means the same thing. So it came to me. It gave me structure to be able to talk about topics on a regular basis and create some consistency with some of the things that I'm doing here with the broadcasting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. My mind is like going all over the place.
There's a lot there.
I'm still back on when you said it comes to you, and I'm gonna jump in there because a lot of people that follow me know that that's what this is all about.
It is.
This right here. And that's
Yes.
my wall of everything. And there's more of them here. You can see they're everywhere. And I always say to people,
by the way.
What's that?
3M love you.
I'm sure, yeah. But you know why I do that, Stephen? Is because I believe the best things in my world, stuff like the stuff back there on the walls and opportunities, and you can see a few of them, and the walls upstairs are lined with them. Those are things that didn't come from me. Those are all opportunities that found their way through me, because every great thing that happens for me is happening to me, for me, on its way somewhere else, because of the 80-20 rule of 80% of everything I do is meant to be of service to others. So I have to look at all the wonderful things that come my way as they're just on there passing through. I always tell people, look what cut across my yard. See that magazine cover back there? It cut across my yard. That's what it did. It didn't come and move in and stop.
Yes.
It was on its way somewhere else all along. And I really think that's a thing that a lot of us need to, do what we have to do in order to see our blessings that way. Because in order to be a blessing, you have to see a blessing and see it for what it truly is, which is something that's on its way. Blessings don't have homes.
That's one of my personal, though I lead a guided meditation, and you had mentioned that last time that we were talking, and at the end we'll talk about where you can get that. But the point is one of my personal affirmations is about money. And I say that about money.
Okay,
and this is my personal affirmation about money. Now, I don't focus on a lack of money or anything like that, but what I say is this. I say, money flows into my life like a river through a deep lake, and it flows back out too. So it comes in and it goes back out. A river through the lake comes into the lake. It's a big pool, and then it keeps on going.
You're doggone right. It flows back out. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But also, that's why here we are. Well, we can agree to disagree, but we're not really disagreeing. We're looking at the same thing through different lenses. But I say this, topic. No, I'm going to keep it on that. But see,
I mean, like it could be something else than money. It could be.
That's my point.
Creative thought.
See, I try, Stephen, to not be too specific. Because I may think I need money, MONEY, greenbacks, and I just need to learn. I'm really asking for abundance. I know in my life, some of my greatest rewards, some of my greatest awards, some of my greatest achievements have nothing to do with an account number or a routing number. So it had nothing to do with tangible money, but it still
Exactly.
had value beyond belief. And so
Right.
sometimes I've gotten more into the mindset of bringing abundance, speaking abundance into
Mm.
into my reality instead of being specific. Because the thing about it is, we don't know what we don't know, and we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things we do know. So,
Right. And the things that we affirm in a specific manner sometimes don't manifest in that specific manner. And then we don't even necessarily recognize the fact that it manifested, but it just didn't manifest exactly the way that we wanted it to. Because we are on the same track. I know that.
right.
Um,
Because
because it
here's the
is
deal, Stephen.
about
When you
intention.
say money, well, I'm sorry, but when somebody needs to hear this, when you say money, you may
Yeah.
be so focused on looking for what it looks like, a 20 or 100 or a
Yeah.
50, that you
Yeah.
miss. You're so worried thinking about that the person standing in front of you that you just happen to walk into, bump
Right.
into in the grocery store could represent opportunity. But
Yes. Which is
you're
the
just,
money.
all you see is their mouth moving because you're sitting there going, where am I going to get this money for this bill? You know, but really the
Exactly.
opportunity is the road to the money you
And,
need.
and any focus on I need more money, that is actually a statement of lack immediately. Okay. That's an immediate statement of lack. So the other part to it, that's just one part ultimately of the affirmation, because the other part of this affirmation is that the more money I have, the more money I can give away. And that is really my goal, because I pay it forward. That is one of my goals. It's about having a mindset of sharing what I have, of paying it forward, because that is where I'm at in my life, is about paying it forward in many different ways. Obviously, the more money I have, the more I can help somebody else out. And with what I'm doing, that is the focus of ultimately the Live with Nature, which is going to be a nonprofit corporation. And its proceeds are going to go to help worthy foundations that are helping our communities. And so it's not about the money for me. It's about the money for others, because it is true. It's difficult, but it's true. And coming from a guy that had no money when he was homeless and had to learn to live on nothing, it does take money. Even if you're homeless, it takes money.
Well, yeah, the more money you have, the more people you can be of service to. This is true. This is
That's
true.
10-4. Yeah,
Um, but it's like, you hear that, and paying it forward, in my opinion,
yeah,
is quickly becoming an loosely used term, which
sure.
means it's been watered down because people feel like, they're fulfilling some moral obligation by being able to say that they understand paying it forward. And you know what I'm saying? For instance, if you know the person in your family is a
Mhm.
crackhead or a heroin user, and you feel
Right.
like just because, okay, I won $50 on a scratch off this morning, here's 25 of it, and you give it to
Hmm.
a person that isn't ready to do the right thing with it,
Yeah.
have you really bent over just so you can say, and you did a disservice because you're saying that, well, I helped them get something to eat when, as soon as you gave it to them, they were out the door. My point is
My,
this. What
hmm
I believe that if we look at, you don't invest in something until you know about it. When you invest your money in something, in real money, I'm investing in
right.
property, I'm investing in this, I'm investing in that. If it's a low yield investment, you're not going to do it. If you see that there's a chance of it coming back in spades, blah, 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 then you say, I invested. I made a great investment. And I think we should invest in each other, invest in situations, invest in
Exactly.
opportunities for others, and
I,
not just so I'm just saying, I'm
you made
almost
me
finished.
think.
Wait a minute. Hold on. My
Mhm.
show. Let me
Okay.
finish.
You bet.
I'm just going to say this. And I
Yeah.
say this to everybody because you have to, don't just give stuff away and say,
Right.
because the one thing I hate, Stephen, is I'll be at an oasis, like on the highway driving somewhere. And I'll ask the person, because I pay with cards. And sometimes I'll ask the person, can you give me change for that? What's that for? Are you not giving them money out there out front? Are you there out there every day? And I'm like,
Hmm.
as a matter of fact, I am. What they're out there. So what? You don't know somebody's situation. I know when something greater than me tells me, doesn't ask me, hey, Loren, you feel like giving her $5? Hey, have you considered paying it forward right here. No, it tells me to invest in that person right now.
Yeah.
And so I'll do it. But I do
Right.
it as it's moving, again, cutting
Mhm.
across my yard. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I really feel I
You said what I
wish
was
more
going to say.
people would start saying, invest it forward instead of just
Yeah.
pay it forward.
Yeah. And
Because a
and
bill,
I
when
know.
you pay bills, you
Yeah.
invest in things that you don't have to.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You pay a bill
I
because
do.
you have to. So you're paying it. But when you invest in something, it's a choice. Think about
Exactly.
that. That's all. I'm
And
done. I didn't mean to
that's
be mean,
awesome.
but I
That's
wanted to
so
get that
awesome.
out there.
And we are in the flow. I know that. And so my flow was saying the same thing. Have been on the
Talk about
situation
that.
of watching people that I know. Well, here's $20 to this. Why'd you do that? I said,
Right.
why did you do that? He's just gonna go buy a beer or something. And it's like, she says, I don't care what he does with the money. But she said, I want you to go get pizza. That's what I want you to go get pizza. Well, guess what? 5 minutes later, he's walking by with a piece of pizza. So, we
See what I
can't
mean?
control what people do with the money. And then I had to learn the lesson. It's not up to me to decide what he does with it, but it is up to me to, and like you said, invest in that person and show him that actually somebody cared. You know, we're not in control of their life. Let them do what they want. But the
Right.
whole gesture might have made such a major impact on their life. You may have changed them right then and there by doing
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. And another thing we need to never forget, everybody, is and Susan Day, thank you for sharing that, Susan. Susan
Yeah,
said a random act of kindness happened to her this month, and now she
yeah,
has groceries. And the thing
there
about
we
it
go.
is, the manner in which we bless people, bless others in
Hmm.
situations, is the same manner in which our situations and we will be blessed. And so it is the
Right.
spirit. And that's what I'm saying, the difference between pay and invest. It is the
Yeah,
spirit in which we do
it
these
is.
things. What is the motive? What is the sponsoring thought? Because a lot of people, for instance, it's easy to give somebody some money on the street because you're scared. You want to get out of there with the rest of your purse or your wallet intact, is what you think. But sponsoring thoughts have come
Right.
on only in two colors. They're either going to be a sponsoring thought of love or a sponsoring thought of fear. That thought is the seed, it creates the plant, and the plant bears the
Right.
fruit. So if you start with fear, you're going to have a plant
Yeah.
that's grown from fear, and it's going to
Yeah.
produce fruit
You go. Uh-huh.
that isn't good. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm so adamant about that, and I'm glad we got on that subject
Yeah,
today because
that's so awesome. I guess there
yeah,
was a reason for me to mention money. It's a touchy subject, um, but that is the real message about the money thing.
yes,
Um, so that's beautiful. I just love it. Today is an exceptionally positive day about empowerment. I'm so thrilled on that. Everything that I'm seeing and dealing with today is about that. It's about making that transformational change that we all have the ability to do. Because when it gets right down to it, it is about choice. And so I guess part of my message that I want to share today is that if we have things that are bothering us that we don't
yes,
like about our lives, we can change it. So it takes action. It doesn't take thinking, and you can't think it in your conscious awareness. You have to do it at the correct times and the theta mode of consciousness and reprogram this brain with the positive stuff and the intentions that you want to have. And you have to do it over and over and consistently. And maybe for the rest of your life, say this stuff. And I guarantee that if you do, it will manifest. And I'm here to tell you it does manifest because my life has changed so drastically and dramatically for the better. It's a wonderful thing to get up in the morning I was up at 3 and be thankful for it.
what time do you go to
Right.
bed?
Oh, it depends. Sometimes I can wipe out, but I'll 9 or 10, maybe. I don't think I made it that far even yesterday. No. So I go to
I was
bed
going to say
fairly
you
soon.
have to.
Yeah, I do. I do have to. Normally around 9 o'clock by night.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that's so different from me in the past. I mean, in the past, I'd say up till 10, 11, or I mean, 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock, but there's no way. And I did that for a minute when
Right,
I
right.
first got involved in the social thing and how addictive it was. You know, it's like I can't put it down. And you see one thing and that takes you to another, to another, to another, to another. And before you know it, hours have gone by. Well, I don't have hours to waste anymore. I just don't.
And
I have to make my hours count.
so today,
And I got,
today, Stephen,
yeah.
is Empowerment Wednesday. What's tomorrow?
Yes. No, today is Empowerment Tuesday.
I mean,
Tomorrow is
Empowerment
mental.
Tuesday. What's
Yeah,
tomorrow?
it's Mental Health Wednesdays, and
Mental
I'm going to
Health
have a
Wednesday.
special guest, Adam Shelton. He's our dyspraxic champion. He's going to be talking with us tomorrow. I've already got confirmation in the following weeks from. Well, he was with you yesterday. I'm so pleased. Tucker Burden. He's Mental Health Wednesdays as well as probably a get to know too. I
Awesome.
got some really dynamic stuff coming, and so I'm really really excited about that. I really really
That's
am.
awesome. I'm gonna just say this
Yeah.
because I'm sure it can never be stated too much, TOO, too much. And I just want to say, please don't ever underestimate the value of your contribution, Stephen. Because even though I do not, I'm going to keep it real, do not get up at 5 a.m. to watch your
Okay.
sunrise lives. Let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
something. The sun rises twice in my world because it's already physically rose by the time I get my lazy butt out of the bed. But I get a second sunrise every day, Monday through Friday, when I tune into what you're doing over on Facebook. And I'm so grateful to you. I am so grateful that it was worthy of you coming back here 2 times in a row, several weeks apart, but still,
Yeah.
to
Thank
get
you.
this
Thank you.
conversation out there. I just need you to know that because, many times, like this investment that you're making in each of us, going to bed early, all that
Yes.
goes into those few minutes every morning that you feel are so important that you get up every day and you make it happen for someone else. That's what it's truly all about, folks. So, never feel like there's not something you can be doing to contribute to the well-being of this world. The 80-20 rule is alive and popping. And when
Mhm.
you make it about 80% about everyone and everything else, that 20% that is all yours will feel like far more than you could have ever imagined. And
Mm.
that's the truth. So
Yes,
will you
it is.
please go in after I release you, Stephen, and drop in
Sure.
your links to where people can continue this conversation, this
I'll do
dialogue
that.
with you?
That's
Okay.
exactly what I'll do, Warren.
Okay, and I highly encourage all of you to get over and learn how to put your phone notifications on silence or do not disturb so that you can get these reminders and Stephen can send them to you every day, Monday through Friday. When you
Yeah.
least expect it, he will have paid/invested it forward, and what you need will be right there waiting for you before your eyes even open. So thank you so much,
Wonderful.
Stephen Smith.
You're
Have a
very
wonderful
welcome.
day. Keep doing what you're doing. And you have an open invitation here on Bathrobe Moments. Anytime, my man.
Ah,
Anytime.
that's awesome. Thank you so very much. It's always a pleasure. I love you. Thank you. Thank you,
Same
everybody,
here.
for taking time to watch.
Thank you. Have a blessed day, my friend.
Alrighty, you too as
All right.
well.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Okay, everybody. We have a couple minutes real quick to wrap up. Stephen Smith. I love him. Because, sometimes I got to pull. You know me. Ethel, girl. So tomorrow, I'm about to, as soon as I get out of here, I'm posting on my page tomorrow's guest. Her name is Kelly Guntner. Wait until you see, hear, and experience this story. Simply phenomenal. Kelly lost over, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's like over 200 and some pounds. And when you hear everything about this story, you're just going to sit there like me, stuck. Absolutely wonderful. Lachelle, who are the speakers for Australia event? I have tons of submissions through like Speaker Match and these sorts of things. We haven't even started going through them. We are only taking, Lachelle's asking about the Power of We Symposium Australia. Heading out on the 14th of April, we leave and meet in Los Angeles, where we will all board the same flight to Sydney, Australia, and we will be presenting the first Power of We in Melbourne. I'm sorry, Sydney first on the 18th of April, and then we have a week out doing outbound projects as we travel over to Melbourne for the 25th, the second Power of We Symposium in the land down under. If you want to find out more about what we're doing, please head over to powerofwesymposium.com, and you can contact us there, and it'll tell you how you can submit your name as a possible speaker for the Power of We Australia. But anyway, Kelly Guntner tomorrow. And then Thursday, Chris Tomlinson. Burned over a great majority of his body when he was just a little boy, just a tiny little fella. And what he has done to keep a smile on his face and love in his heart is nothing short of a miracle. I am not kidding you, you guys. I am not kidding you. I look at these kinds of people, and then Anna Calizo on Friday. Oh, my goodness. Wow. The promise from the Creator that you're not going to get more than you can handle. When I look at some of these stories, I'm like, oof. I don't know how they did it. But that's why we have communication. That's why we have Bathrobe Moments and lots of platforms where people get to share their truths with you, with me, with each other. And this week it's going to be it's Survivor Week here on Bathrobe Moments. So again, Kelly Guntner, come tomorrow. Mark your calendars. Chris Tomlinson on Thursday, and then we're going to round out the week with Anna Calizo on Friday. So please, please, please mark your calendar, and I'll meet you right out front on the front porch. We'll come in, and we'll do it right. I want to thank my guest. I see Stephen has put his information in, so there you go. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for fulfilling the promise that where two or more of us come together, something great will happen. Not might, could, or should. It does. It happens each and every morning right here on Bathrobe Moments. Now get out there and do what it is we do. Love on each other like never before. But remember, in order to do that effectively, you have to start by loving yourself. Don't lose yourself in the cracks of life. You are the grout that holds it all together. Get out there and make every situation, every person a little better than the way you encounter them, and you will see a life that others merely dream of. And that's a promise. It is not from me. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow morning, God willing, 8 a.m. Central, right here for tomorrow's episode, Hump Day, Bathrobe Moments. See you then. Bye-bye.